In a world of seemingly endless podcasts comes what many would call another one. Welcome to the Two Men podcast with your hosts Tim Matson and Phil Powell. Now please join these two confirmed men, that's two moderately entertaining nerds, as they take you on another podcast adventure that's guaranteed to be funny. Or not. This week the two men discuss the joys of working in fast food.
Tim's sucking on his coffee. You know what that means. Anytime Tim's sucking on something.
It's time for another podcast.
That's right.
That's good coffee.
Oh, it is indeed. It's you change coffees though, because that's McDonald's coffee, and normally you drink Starbucks. You go high dollar.
That's a lie. I am a blue collar individual. I drink McDonald's.
I have your cup. I have your cup from last week. That's how I know it's a lie.
I guarantee you're full of beans then, because that was McDonald's last time. Well, it's just a very fancy look at that.
Oh, you're right.
It's very fancy looking writing.
Somebody else came and visited me. That's higher dollar, higher rent than you were.
That. That's true.
So you just drink McDonald's coffee?
Do you know why?
Because it tastes like fries.
That's exactly right. It takes they put fries in a blender and just mix them up.
Everything at McDonald's tastes a little bit. Aren't you? When you have anything at McDonald's, aren't you hoping it tastes a little like fries?
Like their fries? Yes. I mean, their fries are great.
It's like even if you're having a salad, you hope a little bit of the fries waft onto the salad. You know, I think that's the only thing shakes. You don't want shakes to taste like fries.
That's not necessarily true, because when I worked at Wendy's, what we used to do is we would always dip fries in the Frosties.
You worked at Wendy's?
I did work at Wendy's.
How did this?
When I was in college.
Oh,
it almost came up last week because you talked about your war with Pepperidge Farms.
It's Swiss Colony, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had a Taco Bell next door to us, and we always stole their signs. When I was in college, the entire hallway of the house that I lived in had Taco Bell signs all down it because we kept stealing it from them.
Because, wait a minute, you had Wendy's pride?
I did. Yeah, it was Wendy's pride.
Wait a minute. So this opens a whole new, we have to talk about this before we get to our topic today, and we'll get to it eventually.
Eventually.
Did you ever meet Dave?
No, I never met Dave.
I did.
Never met Dave.
Did
you really?
And I never worked at Wendy's.
Dave actually did come through one time, but I was not scheduled. So
you came through your Wendy's?
Yeah, he was visiting. Yeah.
Did you have
he visited our franchise?
Did you have to spiff up?
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
So that meant like clean chairs and
everything was polished to an inch of its life.
Yes. Yeah. That place smelled like ammonia. I bet
yeah, kind of. It did. The thing is, I was in a college town. This is the Wendy's, and so we didn't close until 3 a.m.
Right,
3 or 4 a.m. I don't remember if we stayed up till 4. I thought it was 3. So we would be clearing out of there, sometimes at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right,
it was terrible.
So why did you think that Taco Bell was bad?
I don't know. We just knew some dicks that worked there. We didn't like them.
Did you guys ever rumble?
No, but we did exchange food.
Oh, exchange food as in a kind way or in a negative way?
No, in a kind way. We would trade them some burgers for some tacos and stuff.
So how's that, like pesos?
You'd have to work out an exchange rate.
That's right, like pesos to dollars. So what's that work out? Like, is it 2 tacos for a single? Or, how's that?
I don't remember how we worked it out. I tell you, the most complicated negotiations were with the liquor store down the street. Those were some complicated negotiations.
With Wendy's?
With Wendy's.
Yeah. I don't know. I want,
that was the best part about working those late nights. It's like the inmates ran the asylum after midnight.
So what did it take to get, what were you going for, beer? Or vodka? Or
No, we just got beer.
Okay, so beer, I would think that would be 2 meals, 2 off the 99-cent value menu.
For what?
For I don't know, a case of beer.
For a case of beer?
No. Well, I don't know. I'm not a beer expert. I don't know.
Clearly not.
Is that a lot?
That seems like a lot for a couple 99-cent burgers.
I mean, did KFC, like a bucket of chicken, would that have done the trick?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I never worked at KFC, so.
I don't know. You'd illusion me and disillusion me in the same conversation, in the sense that I thought you would become fluent in all things fast food, but apparently...
Oh, I'm fluent in fast food.
Did you ever consider becoming a manager of a Wendy's?
No, but I was an assistant manager at a Popeye's chicken.
Oh my gosh, there's this whole fast food
Dude,
episode.
I worked at Wendy's, I've worked at Popeye's, I've worked at Taco John's.
I don't even heard of
and Taco Bell. Taco John's is like a Midwest.
Wait a minute, you flipped?
I did work. I flipped. Went over the other side.
That's right. So you had to take back all those signs?
No. Those have been thrown away.
Did you ever tell the Taco Bell team that you stole their signs when you
they
flipped?
knew who was stealing their signs. I mean, they knew who it was.
They knew it was you.
They don't know it was me personally. They knew it was the Wendy's people because we almost got caught a couple times.
So what kind of tools did it take to steal a Taco Bell sign?
I mean, just some scissors, because they put up these big banners and big signs.
Oh, they
and
were
stuff.
banners.
Yeah.
I thought it was like more...
Not like hardware or anything. I mean, that cost a lot of money. We weren't going to vandalize the place, but...
Why not?
I don't know.
So you were vandalizing the place. You were taking their banners.
Well, yeah, I guess we were, yes. Yes, that's true.
That's true. But you flipped sides and you started working at Taco Bell.
I did work at Taco Bell eventually.
Of all of the fast food experiences, what was the crappiest?
Probably Taco John's, because I worked in the mall. That was real drag.
Did you come home stinkier from there? And were the customers the stinkiest?
No, actually, it's probably the chicken place. I smelled like cooked fried chicken. It was a lot thicker in the air.
Right. So...
Yeah, it really was. Although I will tell you... I worked longest at Wendy's. I worked at Wendy's for quite a few years. Mm-hmm. And when I finally was done with Wendy's, we held a uniform burning party at my place.
Wow.
And the uniform wouldn't burn.
So
it just kind of melted.
Oh my gosh. You're still an employee then, technically.
Technically, until you burn the uniform, yeah.
You know, you could rejoin the ranks. I'm quite confident they'd take you.
I could probably just drop right in, yeah. That is one thing that if you like wandered into Wendy's after being out at the bars all night, they would occasionally press you into service if it was really busy, so you'd be back there just
doing whatever
as can be, making hamburgers.
See, I see these people now at Sheetz, and I'm pretty sure
That's a high-class eating establishment.
It is. That's like a high-end fast food place. They're, but I'm pretty sure they're trying to scam. Anytime you see somebody doing something elaborate with a coupon and acting upset, I'm not going to say all the time because I've been there myself. But anybody, they're into like a coupon or a receipt, you know, that they can't get to go. It's like, okay, all I know is this is taking a long time, and you're not buying a lottery ticket, which also takes a long time. But it's not that you must be trying to get a little cash by returning something which you didn't buy from there. That's all I can think.
I tell you what, the most ridiculous thing was always listening to the people in the returns line at Best Buy, because you could always tell the people who were trying to scam because they had the most amazingly elaborate stories as to why they needed their money back.
How does scamming work at Best Buy? I mean, I don't even get that.
What do you mean?
How could I possibly gain revenue?
Oh, well, there was a big thing about you have to check the box thoroughly, because people would try to return like a PlayStation 4 with some wood in the box instead of a PlayStation.
Oh, okay. So you're actually not returning the item. Okay. See,
no, I mean,
that I could see. Yes.
Yeah. Or explaining why the fact that their TV isn't like 1,000 pieces and it was like that when they took it out of the box. I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe. I understand that if you steal something and that you bring it back to a store, that because it's in their inventory, they might give you a refund. You might be able to scam your way into that. But I would think the danger of stealing something and then returning it would be not worth your while.
You would think. I mean, that's the thing is I worked at Best Buy. I worked at Best Buy for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
And as with all retail places, I mean, there's a problem with theft, a certain amount of theft.
Right.
It's just going to happen. It's the way people are for some reason. And we had employees that would steal things and get caught. And it's relatively easy to catch an employee stealing unless they're really, really careful.
Right.
You're going to get caught a lot of times.
Well, they have cameras, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, we have a bunch of cameras everywhere. Although that's not foolproof. I mean, there are dead areas, obviously. And as an employee, you're aware of where the dead areas are. My department was the media department. So we handled all the CDs and games and everything like that. So ours was hit the hardest.
Right.
That's because it's easy to steal. It's a small item. But we track inventory very thoroughly. And my friend John Carroll, who is in charge of managing inventories, he's amazing. He knows stuff down to the granular level of how much we have of everything. And he is responsible for catching all kinds of employees stealing. And they would steal steal a CD. I mean, there's ostensibly a $10 CD.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to risk your income over this $10 CD? That's retarded. That just doesn't make any sense.
I think, Tim, what you meant to say is that's retarded.
I realized when I said that, I'm like, that's not really the right way to say that. That was a poor choice of words. That is a dumb decision. I mean, why would you risk, even if you're making minimum wage, you are going to make in a couple hours enough money to pay for that CD. Why risk losing that income for a $10 CD?
Well, I guess if you think you can get away with it, I don't know.
I guess that's the thing. Enough people thought they could get away with it.
Now, I might be tempted to steal computers and things like that.
Really, at the end of the day, we didn't sell anything expensive enough, valuable enough for me to risk my job to steal. Right. That's the way I looked at it. Even the highest end PC, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Well, it may not be worth the job. Also, jail time, I wouldn't
do good in jail.
I wouldn't do good in jail. Yeah. And I don't want to be the guy on the news that the local Greensboro man stole.
Disgraced actor Phil Powell.
Disgraced actor. Beyond the disgrace of being an actor,
that's a disgrace,
which is in and of itself already bad. I think goodness they'll allow us to be buried in Christian burial grounds.
I hear you have to treat the ground first before you put an actor in it.
I mean, we actors' rights have come a long way.
It's true.
If you look at it, we couldn't get a Christian burial for centuries, and now, we can if we want it. It doesn't seem like a lot to me, but it is progress.
Here we have to have a
goal.
lead-lined coffin though, so we don't seep into the ground there.
That's right, and contaminate other people with our speeches and our verbal asides. So, working at fast food. Good, bad, ugly. Do you recommend it? I only worked at fast food as a busboy. I worked as a busboy.
Wait.
No, dishwasher. I aspired to be a busboy.
That's not fast food. That's a restaurant.
Yeah, you're right.
I was going to say, if you have a busboy, you're not working fast food.
Well, but all restaurants have a busboy in the sense that people don't clean up after themselves.
Well, at a fast food joint, you're supposed to as a customer. They don't. They don't. But
and I was going to say, so what I'm saying is there is somebody who's a busboy. They just don't have
They're not called a busboy, though. They're an employee. It doesn't matter what you do.
But they have that duty. They have that duty.
Yeah. Sure.
It's kind of like somebody cleans the restroom. So did you have to clean the restroom? Was that part of your responsibilities at Wendy's or Taco John's or wherever it is?
Yeah. The worst. That is terrible.
But was this here's the thing that I want to know. Was this is toilet cleaning responsibilities, is this something that you get on the low end or something that as you graduate as a manager, that becomes your responsibility?
Let's put it this way. When you're a manager and you have to deal with the public, you yearn for the days you had to go in and clean the toilet.
Because
there's so many days as a manager when I'm being screamed at by some angry customer. I'm like, God, I wish I could just go in there and scrub a toilet instead of doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Did I mention that I don't like people very much?
So toilets. You like toilets, though.
Toilets are fine.
You're fine with cleaning toilets.
I don't have a problem with cleaning toilets now.
So if we were
manual
on...
labor, there is nothing wrong with manual labor.
Manual labor, all right. So in the future, if I get a starship and say, hey, Tim, let's go to, Mars.
If I could travel in space, I would clean your toilets.
All right. That's really all that I wanted to know.
That's what I figured.
That's really all I wanted to know. I'm sure they'll be nice. But
space toilets, yeah.
Space toilets. They'll probably clean themselves. So your job will be minimal.
That's good because I do minimal work.
That's right. Fast food is tough in and of itself. It's like a war zone in there. It's not Vietnam. You're not going in and chasing the Viet Cong.
I tell you what, it is when the bars let out in a college town. It gets to be a freaking zoo. I mean,
right.
I've seen some stuff that went down. Lots of fights, lots of drunken brawls.
I was going to say,
there was a huge brawl in the parking lot one year.
After midnight, you got a lot of drunk people coming in there making.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was a zoo.
I would think it would take a long time to order if you're inebriated.
It did. It did.
So
we had customers like that. We had a dude that passed out in the drive-thru, and we had to go out and...
He passed out in the drive-thru?
Yeah, driving. Yeah, in the drive-thru.
Did he hit anybody?
No. I mean, he had ordered his food and pulled forward and just passed out.
Oh.
So he was holding up... the longest time there was no cars coming. We're like, what the heck is going on? Look out, and there's this dude just snoozing in the drive-thru.
Well, he wasn't dead, so that's a step in the right direction.
That's a good start.
So you didn't kill it. You killed people in theater, but you didn't kill anybody in fast food.
No, didn't kill anybody.
It's more of a long term. You actually just slow.
I was giving them lots of heart-related illnesses in fast food. That's right.
So if you killed them long term, killed them long term.
It's part of my long game.
Yeah, it's part of your long game, long term. Would that you could know all those people that you helped kill.
There were a number of customers I would have happily helped into the grave.
I look back and what they asked me to do as a dishwasher, which I can't even believe that I'm admitting that I was a dishwasher.
Why would you not? Why hide that? I honestly think that you should be required to work in a restaurant or in a retail workplace once in your life, because you'll appreciate those people so much more than if you never do that.
Dishwashing is actually incredibly dangerous, and it is.
It can be, all those knives and stuff.
Well, you get, and the busboys were oh so careful, and you'd get. And here's the thing: it was a dehumanizing thing because you couldn't even see their faces. There was like a hole. That they shoved you were like back in a corner, and they shoved this bus tray of crap into your area, and you couldn't see anybody else. I mean, it was just like, there's some thing back there that does the dishes.
We don't know how it happens. It's like magic.
We don't know how it happens. It was like a trash can, that's how you felt. But they would stick the trays in there, and there was broken glass in there. There was... It was
again, you didn't work fast food. If you had glass things that people ate off of, that is not fast food.
You're okay. I'm sorry. It was bad, and it involved...
You worked in a restaurant, my friend.
Right.
That is a different class.
I'm sorry. It did not feel high class to me.
What was the name of the restaurant?
It was called Sonny and Char's.
Sonny and Char's?
Yes. It was, I think, a one-off restaurant... and this is the thing. It was after the show had been canceled. For those of you who don't know, there was a television show called Sonny and Cher.
Not Char.
That's right. But it was like a steak. It was like a low rent bonanza or a Ponderosa, however you take your pick. But they would stick. You would stick your hands into a pit of the unknown. Of broken glass. I mean, it was like, and you were expected to wash this crap, and then you had the pleasure of, we had to put the utensils in this soup that sanitized them, and of course they didn't provide us with gloves or anything, So,
Eat the flesh off your hands.
right, it was like, here, cut your hands first. Now, let's bathe them in acid.
Chemical bath.
Let's take your open wounds and bathe them in acid.
I hear that helps it heal.
Yeah, so yeah, it was
Kills the
incredibly.
germs.
It kept me awake. The water was 9,000 degrees
I was
hot.
going to say, they come out molten hot.
Yes. And again, you would have to grab them, and oftentimes you would spill scalding water on yourself because we got to have plates. We're running out of plates. We need some plates, baby. And be like, oh, I'm getting them. Yeah, I've been getting them. You know, it'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm having to deal with my wounded hands and my stuff.
At 3rd-degree burns back here.
That's right. Like, again, I think there's a reason why you couldn't see the faces of the people because no human being could knowingly do that to another human being. I mean, I think our turnover rate, I think I lasted the summer.
Mm-hmm. Carbondale, Illinois is known for being a party school. And working at Wendy's when the bars close at a party school, it was the craziest of crazy places. I mean, you saw so many crazy things. I mean, we had people come through the drive-thru naked.
What's the strangest thing you ever saw in the backseat of somebody's car?
A naked girl. Yeah. Yeah.
Was she, I'm going to hate to ask this question, was she conscious?
Yeah. Yeah. Barely. They were all barely conscious. I mean, they were.
Do you think this was a gag to you, or were they just happened to be naked in the back of the car?
No, this was a stripper that worked down the street at one of the bars.
Oh, I see. All right.
And these dudes were taking
How
her
did
home.
you know she was a stripper?
Because she said she was.
Of course. It's not because you'd ever visited the establishment.
No, I've never been there.
Really?
Where was it?
I don't know.
I don't either.
What was the name of the joint?
I can't remember now. There was one. There were a couple in Carbondale, but I don't remember their names.
What a sad
now.
commentary that in a college town you'd need a strip club.
Well, you have an endless supply of college students needing tuition paid off.
Oh, well, I guess from that standpoint, yes. I mean,
It makes perfect sense to me.
I've just always thought that strip clubs were for old men, and it was one of the things that I was looking forward to.
Have you never been to a strip club? I could tell you're about to lie. You're about to lie to me, aren't you? I could tell by the look on your face you're going to lie to me.
I have not been to a strip club.
You're lying to me.
But I have worked with strippers, which is different.
Explain.
For a movie which shall remain unnamed,
Okay.
there is a segment in the middle of it where it is basically a behind the scenes about the film, and they hired a bunch of strippers to add a little T&A to the film, and the segment that I helped craft involved interviews and with said folks.
Interesting.
Yeah, we can't put
That's fascinating.
I didn't
I want to know more about that.
I didn't sign my name. I didn't sign my name to this.
Was your pseudonym Alan Smith? Is that how
Alan
it works?
Smithy?
Yeah.
No. I didn't. There was no credits.
Alan
There was
Smithy
no
that?
credits given.
See, now, what I always wanted to do is if I ever got to be a famous director or famous Hollywood person,
Get on that.
I'm working on it. It's a long game.
Yes, it's a
This
long
is a very
game.
long game. I always wanted to cast porn stars in parts in my movies
Yes.
so that if anybody was ever watching them and recognized them, they would not be able to mention that to their significant other without admitting that they watched porn.
Right.
I think it's funny.
Yes.
In theory.
You should put that in practice. I bet the problem today is there are too many porn stars.
Is that a problem?
Well, it doesn't mean what it once did. So I would not recommend fast food or working at a restaurant, as Tim calls it, to anyone. It is the most stressful environment that you could ever think to do. I wouldn't do it.
It's way more stressful than you think. I'm the flip side. I would 100% recommend that you
You're right.
do it.
Well, I will say this.
I think don't do it long because you will lose your freaking mind. But you should 100% do it.
You've never experienced stress until you've worked fast food.
Stress over something that does not matter.
You're right. I mean, you know what? In the grand scheme, it's not like people are being shot in the parking lot. Okay, this isn't the most important thing. But the stress...
But it feels like it is at the time.
Right, it feels like it is at the time. How did you feel like when you were at Wendy's or Taco Bell, wherever it was, and a bus pulled in the parking lot?
Oh, that was the worst. Take me out back and shoot me.
I think the moral of the story is eat food, work at least a period of your life at fast food.
Maybe a comma, not a full period.
Although Tim missed his opportunity. He didn't get to meet Dave.
Very disappointed about that.
He did so Tim's a flip-flopper. We've learned that Tim's a flip-flopper.
I do change my
He
stance on
flipped
issues.
and flopped from Wendy's to Taco Bell to Popeye's Chicken.
Listen, man, I'm a gun for hire. I go wherever I'm needed.
You're a chicken hamburger gun for hire.
I also worked at Pizza Hut.
Oh.
That was my first job. Was at Pizza Hut.
My friend Eric Justin has the best pizza delivery. He was I forget if this is in California. He got hit over the head with a baseball bat.
That's a good thing?
Well, it's the best.
That seems like a bad thing.
It's the best pizza delivery story that I've heard.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying is he got hit over the head with a baseball bat when he was trying to deliver pizza someplace. And he'd been held up several times, and he actually like, oh, that's no big deal. It's the people that actually try and kill you. So if they just have a gun, that's just like, okay, you know what the deal is. Here, give me the pizza and
the money.
And the money. It's like, but the pizza seemed like, well, and the pizza too while I'm robbing you. But he got hit over the head with a baseball bat.
Why would you not take the pizza if you're robbing somebody? I mean, take the pizza.
No, I agree.
That doesn't make sense to leave the pizza.
No, they would take the pizza.
Yeah.
They would. I think it was the primary thing they were after was whatever cash she had.
Sure.
But then I think it was like,
the pizza is just a bonus.
It's like a dessert. You know, it's like, I'll take the pizza too. But he got hit over there with a baseball bat, and he describes it like this. He goes, I heard this loud crack. And he goes, I thought it was a gunshot. And then suddenly I realized that I was on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
And I popped back up, and there was a guy with a baseball bat, and he looked afraid of me, and
didn't think he was going to get up, probably.
And they ran off. That's exactly right. And then he says, and then I passed out. He goes, and
God,
that's the last
horrible.
thing. That's the last thing I remember. So,
that's terrible.
Yeah.
The worst thing that happened to me was on my very first delivery. I gave them the little heating box thing or bag. I left them the bag and the pizza. I'm like, here you go. Just handed it all to them. Took the money, went back to the restaurant. They're like, where's the bag? I'm like, oh yeah.
Did they
take
that out of your salary?
No, I had to go back and get them. I mean, this is Newton.
Oh, right. So they gave it back to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't like I don't know what you're talking about. What bag?
No, it was not like that. They were just like, yeah, we were very confused when you left these, so.
Well, that was a decent fast food episode that we had no intention of doing.
We had no intention of talking about fast food when we started.
But there were a couple of things I'm glad we talked about. That I learned about you.
Are you glad? Are you really glad? Is the stuff you needed to know?
What's between glad and dissatisfied? There's something between there.
It's pretty much where I live most of my life.
Dissatisfied. Not unhappy.
Not unhappy. Yeah.
Not unhappy.
My life is not worse knowing these things about you.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's accurate.
Yeah. It's time for Instant Opinion, where I give Tim one word, and he has 10 seconds to render an instant opinion. Are you ready, Tim?
I'm ready, but I'd like to challenge you on one thing.
That it didn't mess up?
No, well, one, you've broken our tradition of you screwing up the intro.
I slurred a word slightly.
That's slightly. That's not good enough. I need you to train wreck this thing. Something I'm currently trying to do is derail your intro.
You've done a sufficient job.
I would like to point out, I am not reading your list, but I've glanced at it. I've noticed that most of these are not just one word.
They're not.
This is false advertising.
Then I'll see you in court, young man.
I will. I'll have our day in court. All right, let's go.
All right. King Ferdinand. You don't have the timer.
I don't even have to. See, now I am keeping the tradition by not having the timer ready.
But you're ruining that word, King Ferdinand, off the list.
Don't really care about King Ferdinand anyway, so I'm glad. I did that on purpose.
Oh,
And
sure.
Now
you're getting text. Is it sexting?
Not really. It's my friend Gil, so
Okay.
I don't find Gil that sexy.
All right. But
Although he is going to cosplay as the Kingpin, and that could be pretty styling.
All right.
Okay.
Cosplaying as Kingpin.
Yeah, he's going to cosplay as the Kingpin.
Okay. Are you going to be one of his minions?
I don't think so, because aren't his minions the hand ninjas? I'm not really much of a ninja.
You know, I played the word once in Scrabble, hench. And it was found not to be a word.
No, I don't think that it is a word.
I argued that if there are henchmen, hench must be something.
So what you're maintaining is that these are men who hench.
That's correct.
How do you hench?
I don't know. What are hench?
When you played the word, you must have some idea.
Your firemen, fire is something. Your policemen, police are something.
That makes more sense, because to police something, that's a verb. So you can police, that's an action you can take.
So what do you hench? I mean, it must be something, because when you're a henchman, you must be helping the villain in some way.
Well, that's your job. Yes, you're helping the villain. But you can't hench something.
I think you can.
How do you hench something?
How do you mend something?
Absolutely going off the rails. Go ahead.
How do you mend something?
How do you mend something?
No, men. So what I'm saying is, men has no purpose in this compound.
No, they're the individuals.
Right. So the adjective that describes the action is the first syllable, or the first couple syllables. So like firemen, policemen.
Sure.
Army men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I get where you're going.
So hench must be something.
I don't think it is anything.
I think if a supervillain said, "I need you to help me,"
can you hench this for me?
That's right. That would be a legitimate thing to say. Will you hench for me? Will you hench for me?
Okay,
there must be a hiring process. Henching, $10 an hour, or something like that.
I could see you saying, "Will you hench for me?" That as kind of shorthand for "Will you be a henchman for me?" That makes sense to me. But to actually hench as an action, I don't think that is a thing. I don't think that's a performable action.
I believe that logic dictates that henching must be real.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with your logic. Your logic is pretty sound.
Like the boson particle. Is it the boson Higgs? The boson Higgs particle. Boson Higgs. Hench must exist.
Okay.
Logic dictates it.
Sure.
Instant
Moving
opinion.
on.
Instant opinion. It's time for instant opinion, where I give Tim 10 seconds and one or two words, and he has to render an instant opinion. Are you ready, Tim?
That was much better.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready.
This is an entire episode long. Tender toes.
Tender toes. That sounds lovely. Tender little toes. Like you want to, I don't know, you find your lover's toes delectable and cute. That's lovely. Tender toes also sounds like you just dropped a hammer on yours. And that's something I'm not into.
Okay.
Although let's be fair. I'm really not into feet at all. So tender toes really doesn't turn
So
me
you
on
could
that
do
much.
without feetless.
I could do without feet.
feetless. No, you could do with feetless. All right. Used burial plots.
Used burial plots, where only the finest treasure can be located. So yeah, if I'm a grave digger and I'm a grave robber, I'm going to go for used burial plots. I don't want to be buried in a used burial plot because I'm not into sharing. So that would be very close quarters.
It's gonna happen, baby. All right.
Probably.
Overrated perseverance.
Overrated perseverance. I think perseverance in general is overrated. I mean, give up.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and give up. You'll be happier. I did, and I'm happier for it. I don't know that there's a downside to overrating perseverance.
Overrated perseverance. Sorry.
Overrated.
Okay. Conjoined twins.
Conjoined twins. It's the quickest way to have a backup date if one goes south. So if you're on a date with a conjoined twin and that one doesn't like some of your jokes, you can always try it out on the second one. So I'm pro that.
That's great. Shingles.
Shingles. Great on a roof, not so great on your body. So it seems like all old people get shingles at some point. That's something I don't really look forward to, the possibility.
I haven't got the vaccine yet, but it's
I
on
haven't either.
It's on the horizon.
It should be in our future at some point.
Nice bigots.
Nice bigots. The most frightening of bigot is the nice one. The one that seems perfectly fine and harmless, but really isn't. I'm against nice bigots because I think if you're going to be a bigot, just go ahead and be a bigot.
Right. You're weakening your brand.
Yeah, you're weakening your brand. I mean, if you're going to hate, just go ahead and hate. Just do it.
Excellent baritoning.
Excellent baritoning. I think all baritoning is excellent. Being a bass is just showing off. Yeah, so baritone is where it's at. Tenor, too flashy. Stay baritone.
Yeah, you're just going with the crowd.
Yeah.
I think most nerds are
naturally baritone.
Yeah. Matt Giel.
Why did you do this? Matt Giel. Matt Giel is someone that I always replace in my head with Darren McGavin. I think that if Matt Giel had a Hollywood career, he would have Darren McGavin's because I think that they act alike. That's my opinion on Matt Giel.
Yeah, he is Darren McGavin. I'll give him that.
I think he is. I think he's got that kind of like put upon like feeling sometimes. I think he's funniest whenever he's put out.
Right.
Or inconvenienced.
Sadly, Matt Giel did not have Darren McGavin's career.
That is a sad thing. Although
there's still
on the
time.
upside, he's still alive and Darren McGavin isn't. So
that's right.
There's a plus.
He's got a chance. That's all I have.
That's it.
All right, so thanks everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Greetings. I am Alice, highly paid digital assistant to the two moderately entertaining nerds of the Two Men podcast. Want to let us know what you thought of the show? Have a topic you'd like to hear discussed? Feel like demanding your money back? We'd love to hear from you on 2 out of those 3 questions. Drop us an email at twomencast@gmail.com. In the meantime, please rate us and leave a review on iTunes or your podcast service of choice. Also, for all discussions moderately entertaining, you can find us at facebook.com/2mencast. Please join us again next week when we'll be guaranteed to be funny. Or not.